some coffee. Today I'm gonna be sharing with you my gym origin story.
Yay!
It all started when I was bullied in elementary school. I realized that through a very intense holotropic breathwork session, and I saw these girls picking on me, bullying me, and I realized that I have built an entire shield around my body through bodybuilding to, in a way, protect myself. At a really young age, I have already decided I wanted to be fit and strong and muscular one day. Even though I didn't even really know what that looked like, all I knew was I wanted to be able to protect myself. My brother and I also drew a lot of attention growing up, not by choice, because we had lighter skin growing up in Taiwan. Like, I'm half Taiwanese, half Caucasian, and I know I look Asian to you, but growing up in Taiwan, my brother and I were considered white, like Caucasian, like we were like white kids. And you know, we can speak Mandarin Chinese, and like little kids really point to their parents and be like, Mom, look, there's like a white kid over there. They even have a slang for it called like big nose or like tall nose, like, hey mom, look over there. So we were constantly being like looked at and pointed at simply because of our skin color. So I think that kind of messed me up in the head a little bit at a young age growing up. Like, I always felt really self-conscious about my body, about my appearance, and I just had this strong desire to want to fit in. Like, I wanted to fit in so bad, and I just couldn't, no matter what I did, no matter what I wore. So I moved to the States for college, and yeah, I felt like when I moved to America, United States, I could finally fit in because there's so many different types of people, skin colors, races, and like it's just like a big mixed salad. So I finally felt like I could just like breathe and like be myself. So I wanted to help other women look and feel beautiful through like makeup and hair. And during the time when I was in cosmetology school, I started going to the gym. So all my classmates would go to the gym during their lunch break, and I was like, hey, I want to go. Like, it just sounds like the healthy, good thing to do. Like, why not? I've always been like a skinny girl. Well, skinny fat. Like, I had like, you know, skinny flimsy arms, and I've always held like fat on my legs. I've never had super like just genetically skinny legs. Like, I've always held more body fat in my lower body, and I had like a little like stomach pooch, you know, the typical beginner's physique before you like ever started to diet or work out. So when I started to follow more and more bikini competitors, I got really excited because it's like, wow, you can build muscle and look super feminine and sexy, and like they looked so confident and like radiant too. I signed up for a personal trainer like that day, and I was like, that's my goal. Like, I want to compete one day. And I worked really hard for 3 years. Like, I was obsessed with the gym, you guys. Like, I loved the gym. Like, I would literally get so excited. Like, I would be like almost like shaking. I don't know if it was the pre-workout or it was just pure excitement or the combination of both, but I loved the gym. Like, it was my freaking life. It was the gym, and I would go to college, and then I would work at this buffet. So that was my life for like 3 years, and I trained super hard. I worked with my personal trainer once a week for 30 minutes because that's all I could afford. But the cool thing is they saw my passion and potential. Like, my trainers would actually just work out with me simply because, I don't know, I was just fun to work with, and I was just super motivated. So I did my very first show in 2017 with my personal trainer at the time, and he didn't even like charge me anything extra. He just like gave me the meal plan, helped me a little bit with posing and got me, helped me diet into the show. And then I placed third for my very first competition ever with the worst posing. I was the only one that had this really weird back pose where my legs were like almost kind of like crossed when everybody else's legs were like spread out to like show their glutes. I was like, yeah, it was super weird. I don't know why my posing coach allowed me to do that, but that's fine. We placed third and that was awesome for my first show. And just a little backstory with my first show, I actually got in a car accident the night before of the show on my way to get tanning. And it was a bad accident. I totaled my car. It was really bad. So still wild when I think about it now, and how I still stepped on stage the very next day. I probably got like 3 hours of sleep that night, having to go through the police report and getting all that done. Thankfully, I was intact. All I had was like this bruise on my chin and like my lip. I can't remember, but just it wasn't anything significant enough for me to not step on stage besides the emotional trauma. But I was just so amped up for my very first show that it was just, I wasn't gonna not show up unless I had like broke a limb or like cracked my face or something. So I actually, after doing the police report, I proceeded to go and get my tan with blood on my hands and blood on my face. And I remember the tanning people just like, what happened to you? And like cleaning off blood for me, which was super, super sweet. It really made me feel at home with like the bodybuilding community in that moment. I'll never forget that. So yeah, I stepped on stage the very next day. Nobody knew. I had just gotten in a car accident the night before and completely totaled my car. And I took a year off after that show because I definitely felt the aftershock of, after the adrenaline went away, after the show was over, I was actually kind of depressed for a while. I was like, I can't believe that happened. It was just like a period of like, I need to just be quiet and like heal for a while. And also going to some physical therapy because I had some issues with my back and like a finger was like numb and like weird. So yeah, after a year in 2018, I decided I was ready to do it again. So I started working with one of the best coaches, if not the best coach here in Utah, Shane Hughley, and he helped me turn pro. So yeah, we took first place the first show. The next show, a month later, I became the bikini overall champion, which was super exciting and super, super incredible. But here's the vulnerable side of the story that I think a lot of people don't talk about enough is that, after the show, I wasn't familiar with reverse dieting, even though our coach totally like warned us about it and was like, hey, this is what you need to do. Make sure that you bring your calories up slowly. And he like gave this whole presentation with like overflowing the water bottle and like whatever else that overflows turns into body fat. Like if you're not slowly increasing your calories. And I did not listen. I was like, I'm super lean right now. I'm jacked, after the show. And I just started eating whatever, and then it completely got out of control. Like I started to gain weight super, super fast. And obviously that started to negatively impact my body image, going from like super shredded, like the most shredded I've ever been in my entire fucking life. Like, I don't know, 8% body fat, just shredded to the bone for months on end. And all of a sudden, within like a month, I was like 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 20 pounds over. And I was like chubbier and puffier than before I ever competed. Like it was the chubbiest I have ever felt and been in my body. And that was so hard for me mentally, going from I reached the top of the mountain, I like did it, and I just won the overall, to like, who is this girl in the mirror? I've never seen this version of myself ever. And the more I ate and the more I gained weight, the worse I felt about myself and the more I wanted to eat. And then it started to become addictive, and I started to get into this spiral of binge eating for months. Like, I had an eating disorder for sure. That actually went on for years. Having an eating disorder, just binging and then dieting super, super hard, and then binging and like literally eating food in the bathroom, stealing my roommate's food at the time that I normally would not even eat. I would just eat just to eat, and felt like I was just out of control and like possessed. Literally, I really felt like I was like possessed. Like, I would be eating food in the kitchen past 10, 11 p.m., eating other people's food that I did not really care about, and my foot would just be like tapping because I was so anxious and I was like so scared, but I couldn't fucking stop. And it was really scary. And yeah, so then I was like, I have to do a show again. Like, I need to like diet this off. I need to like get back into my cardio. I need to get back into my diet. I need to stop this. And the more I tried to like get back into my meal plan and eat chicken, broccoli, and rice and like do cardio, then I would binge again that night. And it got to the point where I was like calling into work because I mentally was just like, what the fuck is wrong with me? I remember one day I called my brother the next morning. I was like, I did it again. Like, I literally can't control myself. Like, I felt like I was an alcoholic, but with food. And yeah, that was the point when I started to ask for help. I started to share with people around me and ask for help. Like, hey, if you ever see me in the kitchen past this time of day, please come and like just check on me, you know? And even at work, like I mentioned, I worked at a buffet. I would bring food into the bathroom and hide and eat because I felt so guilty and weird about food. I felt like everybody knew I was like gaining weight and I was like this little fatty now. So I wanted to hide in the bathroom, even though we were allowed to eat the food. Everybody else just ate normally, and I had to bring it into the bathroom. So I started to ask for help from my coworkers. I was like, hey, like, I have this problem and please like help me and like check on me. So that actually started to change things when I started to actively ask for help and like put it out into the world of like, hey, this is what I'm dealing with and I no longer want to be this person. Because I felt like it made things a lot worse when I was hiding and like trying to cover it up and like thinking I could do it on my own. It only got worse and worse. So if I can give advice to anyone that is going through, you know, binge eating, ask for help. Like, speak it out loud. Like, talk to people. Like, let people know that, hey, I am feeling like my heart's racing right now and I can't stop thinking about this food. And I promise you, once you like speak it out, it's like you're like releasing this energy through your words, and now you can actually face it and you can make a choice from there, because now it's outside of you. Like, okay, yeah, I don't want to do this. But when you are feeling those feelings, like your heart's racing and you can't stop thinking about that ice cream in the fridge and you're like pacing around, but you're like keeping it to yourself, it's going to almost like explode within you. And that explosion just results in you going to eating that food and spiraling out of control and then feeling bad about it and then like digging yourself a deeper and deeper hole. So that's that's one very important component that got me out of it, was just having the courage to start to talk about it and ask for help. So yeah, that's been a beautiful part of my journey. And I say beautiful because it's been one of the most potent teachers that has helped me learn about myself. And it also led to a lot of my spiritual awakening, like this whole journey with competing in bodybuilding. Within that, I also started to notice, as you know, when I would get really, really lean, or even when I would win shows, I started to notice that, you know, I was really seeking that external validation from myself and from others through being super lean or like looking the best at the gym. But on the inside, I felt really hollow. Like I was always picking myself apart. Even when I got super lean, there was always something, you know, when I would get lean, I'm like, well, now my butt is flat. Like there was always something that wasn't enough. And even when I did win shows, even when I got to like the tip of the mountain, so to speak, at least for me, you know, getting show ready, I still didn't feel good enough. Like there was always something missing. And I remember I read this book called The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And that book broke me open. That was actually the catalyst of my spiritual awakening, where I realized there's actually a lot more beyond this physical form and my body. Like in that moment, I could feel the oneness of all. I felt like I looked up into the sky and looked at the clouds, and I could feel I was a part of the sky and I was a part of the clouds. And when I went outside and went to the store and I saw so much love and every single human being, and I could see them within me. When I would look into their eyes, I was like, there's me and love everywhere. And for the first time, I knew I was so much more than my body. Yeah, sorry, it's just, those feelings are coming back to me of just oneness and unconditional love. And it was so beautiful. If you've never read that book, when you are ready, read that book. Or share in the comments, let me know how that book has changed your life, or if there has been a book that has led to your spiritual awakening, because that was definitely the one for me. So despite going through all of that and, you know, navigating my relationship with food and going through body dysmorphia, like that's been another huge lesson. Honestly, these have all just been the greatest teachers to who I am today and how I am able to relate to my clients. Because if I didn't go through the weight gain, if I didn't go through the binge eating, if I didn't go through body dysmorphia, I wouldn't have the compassion and the wisdom I do today. You know, knowing through what women are going through every single day. And I want to help because I've been there and I felt that pain and that disconnection from my body. So fast forward, you know, we turned pro in 2020, which was another incredible day. And I did notice that with every show, I've done 6 or 7 shows, I can't remember. I did get better with my strength within myself with food. Like every time I could feel my energy come back to me a little bit more. I'm like, okay, I have a little bit more control now. And this is the next thing that I can tweak and work on to feel more grounded within myself. And during this time, I also got into, you know, meditation. I went and got the TM, what do you even call that? Like they give you your own private mantra that you're not supposed to ever tell anyone about. I actually haven't told a soul what my specific mantra is just for me. So I went through transcendental meditation, and that kind of got me started with like some sort of routine for my spiritual practice. And then I also got into pranasana yoga. So I did a 9-month shamanic yoga teacher training, and I've been doing breath work since for the last 2 years, and practicing emotional freedom technique, and also helping people do that, helping them release baggage that is stored in the body, because a lot of it is, if not all of it, is emotional stuff. Like for me, I think I had a poor relationship with food because I was constantly looking outside of myself for validation and looking outside of myself to feel good enough. And because my heart and my soul knew that it was something missing inside of me and nothing was ever going to fill that void, I was filling that void with food. And once I started to realize that, then I could start to heal and reclaim that part of myself and bring that wholeness back to myself through my own self-love. So yeah, it's been an incredible journey, and I have been taking a break from doing bikini competitions. My last show was last year in 2023. I did my first pro show, my pro debut, and I took 10th, which is the lowest place I've ever taken. Third place is as far as I've gotten, and I've mostly taken first. So that was definitely very, very humbling, being on stage with all these incredible athletes and these pros, and I realized I have so much more to work on. However, my heart just hasn't been feeling called to go back to that, and I'm not gonna say never. I'm not sure when I'm gonna do it again, because I just don't feel like I need to prove anything anymore. I've been finding everything I need within, and all the lessons I've needed to learn, the big ones at least, I have been integrating very, very well, and teaching and just sharing the wisdom, which is why I wanted to hop back on YouTube, because from the past 6 years, from my first videos here on YouTube till now, I have grown a lot. Not just physically, but mentally and emotionally and spiritually. So I have a lot more to share, but I think this is a good piece of the story for now. And I'm super happy and grateful that you're here. And if you have been here since 6 years ago when we made those different videos, a different phase of my life, I'm happy that you're gonna be here on this new phase of my journey, because I think now what I have to share is going to help a lot more people than just whispering on camera. Those of you who know. But we're gonna be sharing a lot more, fitness tips. I want to share a lot more of my story and wisdom around body dysmorphia and emotional eating, because I've learned a lot there. And I know I can help people with that, and I've been helping a lot of our clients with that already for the past 4 or 5 years. And yeah, thank you for watching this video. If you have any requests, go ahead and drop it in the comments of, anything really related to spirituality, fitness, fat loss, emotional eating, body image. I think I'll be doing some sound healing as well, because we have all the tools to do that. I also offer Reiki and one-on-one breathwork sessions. So whatever feels in alignment that you think might help you along your journey to connect deeper with your mind, body, and soul, I'm here for it. Welcome to the highly celestial lifestyle.